Hey YouTubers, welcome back to my channel. And as you can see by the title, today we're talking about why to stop being a pushover. So let's get into it. So for a very long time, I was definitely like one of those people that was like too nice, and I was literally told that I was like so nice, and I was definitely like a yes man, a people pleaser, pushover. I always wanted to like be nice to every single different like friend group and like avoid confrontation. I was always like smiling and laughing like with everyone, like probably no one ever really see me like pissed off. And when someone did something that bothered me, I would just pretend like it didn't bother me, and I would just like brush it off, because it was like, this voice in my head was just like, if you show that it's bothering you, then they're gonna keep doing it, which like wasn't the case at all. It like completely did the opposite. And when someone did something that bothered me and I didn't like say anything, they just like kept doing it. Why? Because they knew they could get away with it if I didn't say anything. So this is a pattern that kind of continued for a very long time in my life, and I never thought I'd be one of those people that got inspired by quotes. But I don't know how this came up. Me and one of my friends were just having a conversation, and then there's this quote that he said, and I was like, what? It's apparently was said by Winston Churchill, and the quote is, "You have enemies? Good. That means you've stood up for something sometime in your life." And I kind of did some digging and some research, and actually, I don't know, there's a couple articles on quotes that Winston Churchill didn't actually say, but nonetheless, someone said this phrase and it changed me. And at first I thought like, oh, I don't really have any like major like world issues or social issues that like I wanna like go protest for or anything. Like I was like, okay, like this doesn't really resonate with me, I guess. And then I don't know, it just kind of clicked, and I was like, whoa, wait a second, like I don't have any enemies or people who like don't really like me that I know of anyway. And it was like, what if it was just more about me like standing up for myself, because I've never stood up for myself. And yeah, I don't know, ever since then it kind of changed me. And I mean, I didn't change overnight, and I wasn't this like assertive person overnight. Like it's definitely taken me years, and it's something that I'm still working on. But like, yeah, now I do have people that in my life that like I see, and like we don't really talk that much, or like people who I've considered like my best friends, like we're not friends anymore because I stood up for myself. And like that's okay. Like there's another saying, and it's like, if you keep quiet to keep the peace, then you start a war within yourself. And like that's so true, because you literally do. And if you don't stick up for yourself, it's kind of like you don't have any self-respect. And if you don't respect yourself, then like why would anyone else respect you? Even if they're like a nice person, and they can kind of sense that like you're like a pushover, and if they could take advantage of you, like they're gonna take advantage of you. It's simple as that. And at first, when you start sticking up for yourself, like not even just sticking up for yourself, but like telling people like, no, like this is what I want. Even like in the simplest of situations, when my friends would ask, oh, like where do you want to eat? I'd be like, oh, like wherever's fine. Sometimes, yeah, wherever was literally fine, but sometimes it was just like, no, you're kind of craving this, and like you don't want to say it. Like speak up and like say how you feel. Like that's, even just in the little things, like that's something that took me like a very long time to learn. And definitely you need to set boundaries with people. Like I said, if they do something that you don't like, then you need to say something. And if that causes like this big confrontation, then that's kind of on them. Because if they're a healthy person and they're a healthy person in your life, they're gonna say, oh, hey, sorry, you know, I didn't know that this bothered you. I'm gonna, like, I won't do that again, or let's do this next time. And if it's someone that just kind of like brushes you off and is like, hey, like I don't want to deal with this, then like that's just not a good person to have in your life. It's kind of simple as that. Like when I was afraid to stick up for myself or speak up about anything, it was also because like I was someone who was scared of confrontation. Yes, confrontation is kind of awkward, and yeah, it could mean someone's mad at you or you're mad at someone or whatever. But when you have like good friends or good people in your life, you should just be able to tell someone like, hey, this bothered me. And it should just be a conversation. Like it doesn't have to be a full-blown argument. It really shouldn't be a full-blown argument. If it's someone that genuinely cares about your wants and your needs and how you feel, it should really just be a conversation. And that's really something I've learned, is that, yeah, in a healthy friendship, romantic relationship, any kind of relationship with your coworkers, like classmates, your teacher, whatever, like you should be able to say, hey, this bothered me, or hey, I don't like this, or hey, can we do this differently next time? And if it isn't some kind of conversation or communication of how things could be done differently, or then I don't know, that's just like not someone that you should want around. If any of this like sounds familiar to you, where you're always like a yes man, or you can't make a decision when in a group of people, or doing group work, like you don't say your input, or someone says something to you or does something to you that's disrespectful and you don't say anything, then you definitely need to start setting boundaries and speaking up for yourself. Like I said, it's going to be super uncomfortable the first time you start doing it. All I could say is, yeah, I don't know, it's going to be very uncomfortable, but it's kind of like anything in life when you try something new. It's new areas for you. It's gonna be weird, but you just have to do it, or you're basically just gonna be like a pushover for the rest of your life. But as you do it, you will notice that, yeah, people will start respecting you more and people start treating you differently, and it feels really good, and it also boosts your confidence a lot. So I would say that like you can't even compare like pros and cons of setting boundaries and not setting boundaries and sticking up for yourself and speaking up. Now that I'm talking about it, this kind of reminds me of something that I learned in my research class, and a lot of you probably already know this. It's like the first chapter of research, that they won't let you conduct research unless the outcome of the experiment is worth the potential harm that they might cause doing the experiment. And it's kind of like that. When you stick up for yourself, are you potentially going to cause a confrontation? Yes. As there might be some awkwardness? Yes. But you're going to feel better about yourself. You're going to be more assertive. You're going to have more self-confidence. People are going to treat you with more respect. You're going to have more self-respect. Then that's worth so much more than that little moment of potential confrontation or what have you. So to recap, if you're a pushover, start sticking up for yourself. It's going to be uncomfortable at first. You're going to potentially have a confrontation with people, and that's okay. That's normal. That's all a part of life. If you can't talk it out with someone, they don't deserve to be in your life. Things might get heated at first, and if they can't cool down and even just come back and then have a conversation, they don't deserve a place in your life. You deserve a place for people who care about how you feel. So yeah, start sticking up for yourself and you'll notice a big difference. You'll be more assertive and you'll have more self-confidence and you'll feel so much better about yourself. So yeah, hopefully you guys took something from my video. If you like my video, subscribe and like it, or subscribe to my channel and like the video. I post every Monday. Thanks for watching. Bye. And sometimes, bleh. Meh.